Welcome back. I knew you would return eventually. Please look down at your feet. This number you see represents the number of power stars you need to access another world. Whether you succeed or fail, just attempting the challenge will show something about your character. Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Piglet here once again, and why is my controllers acting pretty weird? Hold on, let me take out my nunchuck quickly. There we go. So I think I should probably fix by then. So, hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Luigi Galaxy in the Super Mario Galaxy game for the Nintendo Wii / Nintendo Wii U digital downloadable software. So, yeah, last time we did manage to able to take on the forms of the Daredevil mission in, Melty Molten Galaxy, and especially noticeable we did manage to tackle through the Snowcap Galaxy, and also we did manage to take down Bowser for the 3rd time for Luigi, in this case the 7th time so far in this Let's Play in general. So even then, generally speaking, is that today for this video is that obviously we are now going to be taking on the forms of the Purple Comet missions. So start things off as always is the Good Egg Galaxy stage. So, and fundamentally though, this will be the final time we're going to be visiting the Good Egg Galaxy for not only for Luigi, but for the entire Let's Play of it as well. So even then, well, until, you know, Mario and Sonic get the Olympic Winter Games, specifically the Vancouver 2010 installment, and especially notable for Fortune Street / Boom Street for those of you who lived in Europe, and that's as far as we can think about this at this point, even though these are the only appearances that we can able to think of for the time. So, but I digress. So, now obviously when it comes to the actual Purple Comet missions, I'm actually going to be doing things slightly different compared to the forms of how he does it on the Mario's playthrough. Is that obviously, as you can see right there, I'm actually able to done this in a somewhat of a proper run this time, or else unlike the forms of how he does it back in my Mario's playthrough of the game, for whatever reason I just seems to able to make this mission take a slightly bit of a long time to able to actually accomplish this, just because you know how the fact that with the you know, the launch stars we need to go from one place to another. Well, that's not the case for this point here, so even then we can just go ahead and just finish up the mission entirely on its own. So even then though, yeah, that was about it obviously for the this first Purple Coin challenge mission, aside from, you know, the ones we've already done from Gateway Galaxy. That's the only technical pop. But even then though, that's as far as we can say about it. So as for everything else with the Purple Coin challenge missions, as far as I'm most likely aware of, is that I'm going to be doing something slightly different to the table, is that I'm about to be able to do those in a different order, because after I did done the usual Good Egg Galaxy Purple Coin Challenge mission, is that I'm about to be tackling through the different stage, which I'm actually going to be participating in for, and that will have to be, let's just say, between Space Junk or Sea Slide or Ghostly Garden or anything like that. But I'm actually up for a challenge slightly, because you remember in my Super Mario Galaxy playthrough that I managed to able to actually just deal with the space junk first. So I figured that I'm actually going to go up for a challenge slightly, because I'm actually going to be going into the Dreadnought Galaxy first. So to be able to get that mission done and over with, and especially noticeable whenever we get to the although after that, I still need to go through the Honey Hive Galaxy in a chronological order, so even then, that makes it simply the case about this. So, that's as far as I can say about this particular video for this point, folks, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, there's actually quite a few announcements I'd like to able to point things out right away for the past few videos or so. Is the fact that I already mentioned about my thoughts of the Aladdin remake film, which I've already mentioned about this since yesterday, so there's no need to comment on that. So let's just mention about something else entirely different, because we'll mention about the forms of, like, have I actually mentioned about the forms of the Pokemon press conference or something? I think I might actually have. So but let's just mention about something else entirely. See, Fernando, first of all, about the fact the matter is, though, is the fact that let's mention about the forms of the, excuse me, I've got something in my throat there, I do apologize for that. So, yeah, let's just mention about the forms of the first part of the video, and that will have to be by the forms of the new update that has been received recently, joining 2 days ago, potentially, and that will have to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate version 3.1.0, which, as far as I'm aware, they did manage to add some tiny little new additional things about that particular update, which is, first of all, they did manage to add in the Nintendo Labo virtual reality mode, which, for what I can gather, is the fact that it does manage to able to offer you to able to actually, you can't able to actually play the game on VR though, because obviously that it will make it incredibly tricky and awkward to play through. But nonetheless though, you can able to actually watch the CPU matches on the you know, in any other Smash fights and all that stuff. And what makes it super cool is the fact that you can actually look at the surroundings of the entire stage, like somewhat down to the bottom and from the sky, and especially noticeable from left to right. So that's pretty cool, obviously, but unfortunately you can't able to actually see what's beyond behind it. So because of that though, you always have to stay focused on the front, because obviously you know how oh no, don't you dare, cannons. Oh phew, that was close. Yeah, because do you remember in my Mario's playthrough of this mission, is the fact that I managed to able to do this for 2 attempts. Like, for instance, I accidentally died on the first attempt. Let's just hoping we can able to do this in the first attempt on this, in this Luigi's version of this mission. So, at least I'm hoping that would be the case, because so far so good anyway. We did manage to able to live on that trickier cannon sections right there. And let's just say this right now, here's my first attempt on this mission. Yes! Whew, that was pretty close, but I digress. So, yeah, as far as what I've seen, well, I haven't really owned myself the virtual reality kit for myself for Nintendo Labo, because, well, I just thought that it might be some sort of like a waste of money. Well, it's not so much of a waste of money though, unlike in the high advanced technology for virtual reality experience, which is obviously on the PlayStation 4, which, from what I can gather about the fact that, well, you know. Alright, so we got ourselves 107 power stars right now, and I suppose we can able to move on to the Honey Hive Galaxy from now on, because as what it says on the map, that, yeah, we're about to be heading there for, I would say this is actually the final time we're going to be, going into the Honey Hive Kingdom, or in this case, for this matter, the Honey Hive Galaxy, as far as I'm aware. So, yeah, I do apologize if my commentary itself might be slightly awkward, because of how the fact that, as usual, my throat has actually got a little bit croaked up at one point, so must admit that I do apologize for that. So, anyway, another thing I want to explain about this for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that another reason that, another new thing they did manage to add it in, and that was the forms of something to do with the Amiibo function, which, normally does have the 2 separate modes, which there are, I would say skills, and especially noticeable for, leveling up system for the spirits and all that stuff. There's also a third mode they did manage to add it in for the Amiibo, and that will have to be by the forms of journey your way to the online experience. Which I say that is because, well, as far as I can gather about the forms of the actual Amiibo's journey mode, is that it's only exclusive to online. But the only painful part about this, and it's also kind of pointless in my opinion, because you remember how the fact that you can able to actually level up your Amiibo fighter at any point. Like, for instance, you can able to participate on matches, and even especially noticeable for on several moments of notice when you can able to actually just watch the Amiibo figure fights, manage to able to participate in it during the actual regular matches. But it's nice in addition with the online mode, but it's just that I haven't really tested it out for myself, and plus I don't usually own that much Amiibos for oh, sorry, I hit the microphone, I do apologize for that. So, yeah, as far as I can gather about that, even though I haven't really tested this out for myself, because, well, I'll let you know in the comments below about the fact that, or in this case, I might as well able to save that up whenever we're able to actually mention more on that whenever we get to that point. So, and as far as I can gather, that's about it. So even then, let's just hoping until the next Super Smash Bros. Update for specific matters, the fact that we're just hoping for the E3 2019 we're able to actually add something new to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So that's what I can figure about that. So, as you can see right there, I managed able to perform a nice little triple jump, so that way I could able to actually get to this section super easily. Compared to the forms of Mario though, that I don't think that he might actually reach that point. So, just want to classify for that. So you know. Another thing I just want to talk about this actually, something new as well, is the fact that there was actually a little bit of another announcement about the forms of let's just say based off from Mario Tennis Aces, for example, about the fact that you know the way first I thought there was going to be like when they did manage to finally add Dry Bones into the actual character roster since joining recently, that I thought that Dry Bones was actually going to be the last playable character in Mario Tennis Aces at this point. Turns out it was actually wrong, because recently that Nintendo actually added not one, but two new playable characters, or in this case, for this matter, one new playable character into the entire roster, and one from the returning installment from Mario Tennis Aces. So even then, let's get this thing started. So even then, the first thing they actually did added in, new to the roster actually, and that is the Fire Piranha Plant. Because you remember in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that they did manage to add in a Piranha Plant fighter as, you know, the actual DLC fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is pretty cool, but it's also pretty ridiculous they're able to actually add him in there. Which to me I felt is pretty cool, and then, you know. And, that could be symbolized by the forms of specifically the Fire Piranha Plant variation, because I first thought they were originally trying to able to cope with the normal version of the Piranha Plant, like, you know, the white and red colored version of the Piranha Plant, but usually in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate they at least add that. But even then, in Mario Tennis Aces, it's the fact that they now added in, you know, the Fire Piranha Plant, which, for what I can gather, that is pretty insane if you ask me, to able to actually add in the Piranha Plants on certain games nowadays, especially noticeable of how the fact that, well, I mean, what's next? Could it be like Mario Kart, or in this case, let's just say a Mario Party or something like that? But again, we haven't exactly known about that yet. And yeah, it seems pretty cool though, but I don't know which types that Fire Piranha Plants is going to be, but even then I might as well able to research on that at any point. So speaking of that, at least we got that anyway. And also they did manage to bring back the returning playable character from Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which appears to be Dry Bowser. And speaking of Dry Bowser actually, let's just say that Dry Bowser, as far as I can most likely aware of, is that Dry Bowser will actually be the final playable character, or in this case the final character, to participate on the actual online events. So, yeah, it seems pretty promising. Because of this though, I believe, as far as I can usually just try to say about this here, is that Mario Tennis Aces does handle quite a lot of playable characters on that game so far. I think this will actually be one of the greatest installments of all time. Well, if only for the matter of if you miss those nostalgia memories back then, like for instance, you know, Mario Power Tennis, because of the actual gimmicks, and especially noticeable with some of these chords themselves. So, but I'm pretty sure enough though that you know, I can at least cope with it. So, but yeah, I think that's as far as I can say about the Mario Tennis Aces new stuff they did manage to add in, like the actual final two playable characters in during the participation on the online tournament matches and stuff like that. So yeah, as far as I can gather, they managed to gather about 30 playable characters in Mario Tennis Aces. So that's pretty insane if you ask me, especially noticeable of how the fact that, well, now, for whatever reason, on the actual subscription between both, you know, Fire Piranha Plant, and especially noticeable for Dry Bowser, they did say about the fact that, well, I understand that the Fire Piranha Plant was actually a new playable character, But I disagree on Dry Bowser, because he only becomes playable in both of those Mario Tennis games from the past. Like, for instance, he's already been playable in Mario Tennis Open, and especially noticeable for Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, as far as I already mentioned about this before. So anyways, let's head into Gold Leaf Galaxy once again. So I figure I might as well able to, well, as far as I can gather for this point, folks, I'm actually going to be participating in for, let's just say, a quicker missions first, and then after that, then we can able to tackle through one of the longer set of Purple Coin Challenge missions. So, but I don't know, we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say with that specific matter. See Fernando, and I don't know if there's anything else to talk about this, honestly, folks, because other than the fact that, well, we've already got ourselves about, like, 3 more days to go until, the Pokemon Direct will be up. See, Fernando, that I don't, well, as far as the future parts of this Let's Play is concerned, especially noticeable for mainly focusing on the Purple Coin Challenge missions, as you can see here, I don't suppose I can able to actually mention more on the, more details about the forms of the Pokemon Direct for the time soon, because, well, we're actually getting quite close towards the end of this so far. So even then though, as far as how many power stars, as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure we got about 108 at the moment. So in this case, we've already got about 12 more power stars to go. So even then though, once all these power stars has been collected, then we can, sure enough, we can able to go back to the fate of the universe, in this case Bowser's Galaxy Reactor, for the final time in this Let's Play, actually, potentially, because even then, that, as I said this before, in order to actually unlock something very special, whenever you're trying to able to finish up between, you know, Mario's or Luigi's playthrough of this game, well, you need to able to actually just refight against the final boss again until you're able to unlock something that's entirely new to you. So, and that could be same applies for the forms of, well, in this case, in Super Mario 3D Land, that if you already know about that Let's Play, is the fact that once you finish all the main stages, then you will soon to realize is the fact that you need to hit back into the World 8 again until you're able to actually just fight against with Bowser for the second time and stuff. But even then though, that could be also, well, the only exception is Super Mario 3D World, because, well, in Super Mario 3D World, then after when you defeat Mouser, for those of you who have not played that game before, so spoiler alert, and basically that how the fact of the matter is though, is that you only essentially beat this Mouser boss fight just once, so no additional unlockables or anything like that. It's just that you only have to beat the final boss for the, well, for one time anyway though, so even then though, that makes it far from it different from here, so. But I digress. So I believe we got about 20 of those purple coins left, so. Jeez, I can't even believe that we're actually bracing for those missions super duper fast, as you can see right there. But hey, at least when it gets to a point into whenever we, I would say for the next couple of missions later, it will be either Ghostly Galaxy, although, kind of think about it, I think next up it will be Space Junk Galaxy first, and then after that, it will be, doesn't matter which mission should I go for, but even then, I thought to myself I might as well go for Ghostly Galaxy after finishing the, you know, Space Junk Galaxy, and then after finishing Ghostly Galaxy, then we can move on to the Battle Rock. So even then though, oh yeah, I forgot to mention about this actually, it's the fact that we are actually done the entire missions of not only Buddy Forms of the Good Egg Galaxy, but also the Honey Hive Galaxy, and that's pretty much wrap things up with the Terrace Dome. So even then though, that should be worth mentioning for this throughout, so. Yeah, that's as far as I can most likely try to say about this here. So, yeah, as far as the actual two types between Fire Piranha Plants, then Dry Bowser, as far as both types are concerned, well, the Fire Piranha Plant is actually a technical, or in this case, technical type, in this case, yeah. And also Dry Bowser, he was once again, I would say he's on defense play, but I'm pretty sure in Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, in this case the worst installment of the Mario Tennis series, that I'm pretty sure he's placed defensively or something like that, but then again, I haven't really exactly played, I didn't exactly get back into Mario Tennis Aces since day one, so because of that though, I should probably wait until when every single unlockable characters has been fully set, so. But even then, though, that might take me some time alone. See, Fernando, because of that, though, I was still in the middle of, although, kind of speaking of such, is the fact that although Sonic and Pinkie Pie needs to take a break on their Let's Play of Super Mario Party from now on, until, you know, the halfway point of June anyway, they're about to be heading back into that game. So even then, yeah, that's as far as I can most likely say about the, some news and all that stuff, and some announcements once in a while though, so, but again, until tomorrow anyway, I should probably mention some brief little moments here and there. Well, not exactly huge, mind you, because again, that, today's day, actually, is, the 2nd of June, so in this case, we've got about 9 more days to go until the E3 Nintendo announcements will be up and during that time. See, Fernando, I'm really looking forward to it, and some still stuff like that. See, Fernando's wanting classify for that. So, anyway, so here we go back into the Space Jump Galaxy for one last time, and obviously we need to collect these purple coins to be expected. By the way, you're gonna keep on hearing that purple Comet music theme in this particular video, because even then, whenever we get to the next video, I don't think we can actually hear the Purple Comet challenge theme music in the background too much. So even then though, that although obviously the only time you're going to be hearing that specific music is that if you do that on, you know, obviously one for Space Jump Galaxy, and especially noticeable for Battle Rock Galaxy, and also Ghost League Galaxy, and Ghost League Garden especially as well, and also Toy Time Galaxy, and Gold Leaf Galaxy, and finally the Dreadnought Galaxy. So those are the only time we're going to be hearing that music a lot in this video. So because of that though, then just want to get these shorter missions finished before we move on to the longer set of missions. So anyways though, so let's move on to I would normally try to go for Ghost League Garden, but because of how the fact of the matter is though, is that after we're done with that, then sure enough it will able to actually go back to Battle Rock Galaxy, of course. But the only questionable thing about this is the fact that, well, after we're able to actually done, although, kind of thinking about it, let's just go ahead and move on to the Ghost League Galaxy, and talking of which is the fact that after we're done with this, then we can able to hit back into the Fountain Dome for the final time, and able to actually conclude the actual Fountain Dome completely. See, Fernando, that not only for the actual dome, but it's also about the fact that I could able to actually just move on to the next dome otherwise. So, anyways, let's hit into the forms of, you know, the purple coins in the bone pen. So, yeah, as far as worth mentioning. So yeah, another thing I want to talk about this actually is the fact that the actual YouTube company, as far as I've heard from several consumers and stuff like that, for whatever reason, and during the likes of in the 26th of May, for whatever reason, my video views, as far as the actual channel is concerned, is actually decreasing it by such a large amount of it. Like, for instance, that, well, we almost nearly towards at the 200,000 views from our channel so far. Well, almost anyway though, because whenever we get to that point, whenever we did delete some of our old videos due to bad quality, and especially noticeable for pretty bad dialogue for the actual commentary, and for whatever reason that my video views, even our video views total is actually decreasing it by 1,000 or so, which is pretty too much. And I'm probably incredibly sorry for Cap King 74 by the way, because although the actual video views is keep on subtracting it, so even then though, that I think I get a worried feeling about the forms of YouTube so far is the fact that it might actually, that some people seem to say about the fact that 2019 is going to be the worst year for YouTube so far, just because, you know, with how the fact that they might actually start to do, I don't know, all of a sudden, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because even then, we haven't got into that info about this just yet though, so even then, yeah, that's as far as I can usually say about this point, folks. So, anyway, so let's move on to the last mission for this video, and then after that, then we can, sure enough, we can able to do the rest of the Purple Comet missions along the way. So, even then, though, that way we could able to wrap things up from there. So hopefully though, during the likes of what I did mention or originally said before, back in during the past, that I did say this before about the fact that I was originally trying to able to finish up this entire Let's Play of not only Super Mario Galaxy, but it's also Super Luigi Galaxy as well. That we did originally try to able to hopefully finish this up and during in the middle portion of June, but we decided to push it forward a little bit just in case for if we move on to Super Mario Galaxy 2 until about next month or so, or in this case the redo Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy 2, mind you. So even then though, that once I'm pretty much done with this entire Let's Play of this, then we can sure enough we'll get into the most exciting, in this case, overall my favorite 3D Mario game I've ever played, alongside with, in this case for this point and onwards now, it was actually my second favorite 3D Mario game at this point now, because my all-time favorite is, it will definitely have to be Super Mario Odyssey, because, well, it is such an amazing title. So even then, well, despite you can't actually play as Luigi on that game though, sadly though, but at least in Mario Galaxy, and especially noticeable in, well, I'm not going to explain things too much about it, because even then, well, so if you ever noticed on Super Mario 64, and especially noticeable for Super Mario Sunshine, that Luigi wasn't exactly going to be a playable character until Super Mario 64 DS comes around. And heck, even especially noticeable, there was one in Super Mario 3D Land, after when you finish up with Special World 1-Castle level in the actual time limit system as far as I'm concerned. And, well, at least you get Luigi from the get-go in Super Mario 3D World, because obviously they did manage to handle out the character selection screen very similar to the forms of how it does it on Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. So I think you guys should probably already know by this point in time. So, and speaking of such, is the fact that I cannot even believe about the fact that it's been about, like, I would say for almost 6 years for Super Mario 3D World's release. Well, at least when it first announced it back in E3 2013, which, kind of think about it, whenever we get to June at some point this year, it will be 6 years since not only Super Mario 3D World was being first announced in E3, and that could be also the same applies for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Wii U version, and heck, even especially noticeable with Mario Kart 8 as well. So, man, I really cannot believe that time itself just goes really dang quickly. Even because of that though, I might be curious to see how the actual announcements goes until when it gets to a point until the June 11th. So, but I digress. So I think we got about 8 more stars to go for the actual Power Stars Collective stuff. And let's see what's up next. And sure enough, we can either choose either Beach Ball, or Toy Time, or Freeze Flame, or Deep Dark Galaxy. I think no matter what though, I should probably go after the Beach Ball Galaxy first, and then after that, then we can able to actually just move on to the rest. So, the only 2 exceptions though, however though, it will definitely have to be either Deep Dark, and especially noticeable for Sea Slide, because I was able to save up for Melting Molten Galaxy for last, but I've decided to do things slightly different, because I'm actually going to be going for Sea Slide Galaxy for last, because you know how the fact that this is easily the longest purple coin mission in the entire game so far, for me anyway, so, but I thought it was worth mentioning. So anyways, yeah, I guess I'll end things off at this point here, I'm afraid guys, so join me next time on Let's Play Super Luigi Galaxy, and once again I hit the microphone by complete accident, is that we're about to continue on gathering more Power Stars, so see you guys then.